was elected. Our elected officials have great authority in our lives, and they create laws which we must follow or we will be punished. This is an awesome responsibility, and that is why we need to elect pro-life candidates who stand for life, not only on the campaign trail, but in Washington when push comes to shove and their name is called to vote for life or against life. Last summer, I sat across the table from Congressman Ellsworth many times, and he said, "I will not vote for any health care that includes federal funding for abortion."
He lied.
He had a lobotomy on the Air Force One.
That's on fire.
We all know what his word is and what his word is good for. Absolutely nothing for the sanctity of human life. Again, we have to stand up for those who have no voice. We have to be their choice, and we choose life. Vote pro-life and vote in November. Thank you.
Your work is applauded. People like this working around the country now, a majority of Americans say they are pro-life. And yet we have the most pro-abortion president in history, with so-called pro-lifers like Brad Ellsworth selling out the unborn. Those votes, those policies will have consequences. We have Ian Hauer here, and we'd like to hear from him.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you all for coming out here on this cold winter afternoon. Yeah. It's good to be among friends here, and forgive the notes. I mean, if I am given all day to speak on this issue, I will. So these are for your own protection, to stay within my own limits. Well, as you can probably tell from looking at me, you know, I haven't been involved in this for very long. I mean, I'm only 19 years old. I look like I'm 16, I sound like I'm 14, so... You know. But despite that youth and inexperience, I'm passionate about a number of issues. You know, I'm passionate about limited government, low taxes, about a strong national defense, the Second Amendment and the 10th Amendment. And I'm especially passionate about one primary issue, and that is the right to life. This is the right that is given to us by our Creator and enshrined in our Constitution. And without this basic right, all our other rights fall by the wayside and are worthless.
Right.
And because every human being has the right to live from conception until natural death. I will stand behind that. I firmly believe that. And I have another belief, and I will be back to the life issue. It all ties together in the end. But I believe that if you vote for someone, you have no right to complain about the way they do their job, unless they break the promises of their campaign, or lie to you, or betray you. Well, I have a confession to make, and I'm ashamed of this, but out of ignorance, disconnection, and wooed by his alleged conservative credentials, I voted for Brad Ellsworth in 2008. I made the mistake of believing his blue dog talk. I didn't see him for the lapdog that he's turned out to be. But disappointed in him as I was, I really didn't feel that I could do anything because I had given him my vote, so what was I supposed to do? But then something happened. And that something was that monstrosity of a health care bill. Besides being too long for any representative to understand, let alone read, it specifically allowed for federal funding of abortions. And no, President Obama's executive order does nothing to change that fact. Brad Ellsworth, a self-proclaimed pro-life congressman, voted for the bill. A pro-life congressman voting for a pro-abortion, or as I prefer to look at it, anti-life bill? That is betrayal, and he has no excuse for what he has done. But he continues to delude himself and attempt to delude the people of Indiana into thinking that he is a pro-life Democrat. Well, his voting record speaks differently. And so, my friends, it is time to show Congressman Ellsworth and the rest of the blue lapdogs that votes do have consequences. We the people will not allow the most sacred of our rights, the right to life, to be trampled on. A storm is coming, and with your help, Ellsworth's ship will sink in November.